All right, Modern Warfare 2. The game's been out for about a month now. I figured that's a good amount of time to go by for me to give my initial reactions on the game, my opinions, my likes, my dislikes, and just how I'm feeling about the overall state of Call of Duty at the moment. I feel like a month is a good amount of time. I've probably played around 2 days total of pubs in the game, plus GBs and whatever I've watched on Twitch or YouTube. So I feel like that's a good amount of time that goes by to make an accurate representation. You don't want to jump the gun on anything too soon, although my Call of Duty intuition in the past I think has been pretty good. But we're going to go ahead and start with the positives, the likes about this game. And obviously, I'm playing this game a lot right now, and I'm making YouTube videos again. So obviously, I very much enjoy that. So I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't a game I enjoyed looking forward to getting on every day. Uh, but specifically, I'll start with the game mechanics stuff. I was not that big of a fan of Modern Warfare 2019. But I did think the game felt smooth, and it obviously runs on the same engine. And so I definitely think that's still a positive of the game. The movement is good. I like the visuals of it. Times it's still a little bland, but I can actually see people at all times, which has been an issue with Call of Duty games for me in the past, where it's not a lot of color or it's a little bland. I always feel like I can't see people in certain maps. I don't feel like I have any of that problems on this map. The gunplay is pretty good. I really enjoy the gunplay. I don't feel like I get bullshitted a lot. I feel like you pretty much win the gunfights you're supposed to win. Obviously, there's like internet and connection stuff, and everyone's gonna get online once in a while. But in terms of there's a lot of guns I feel like I can use in pubs and have tremendous success with. Now, if you're a good enough player, you can do that anyway. But just like as a baseline, some games you can more with guns than others, and some games you like have to use certain guns or you're just not going to do as good. I feel like I can use a lot of guns here, and I can say that because I'm going for camos. I got all the assault rifles gold. I'm about I think 3 or 4 through the submachine guns of gold so far. So I've definitely noticed there's 1 or 2 guns that have been really bad. I did not like the M16 and I did not like I think the MX9 submachine gun were the only 2 guns I think I used that I was like I cannot wait to never use these guns again. The rest I actually was pretty much the same with. This gun right here, I was actually, my Lockman submachine gun was probably the gun I was the best with, surprisingly. I did not like it at first, and then I was like, this is actually the easiest it's been for me to get chopper gunners in games. So I definitely enjoy that. It's only based on assault rifles and submachine guns, but I feel like that's a pretty good starting point, and I feel like I would be pretty surprised if the game did not continue. There's been other guns I'd used that I'd picked up and stuff and experimented with in Warzone. Warzone's obviously different from pubs, but I feel like most guns in this game are usable to good, which I'm excited for because that's going to help me get through all the guns and all the gold camos a lot faster. So the next positive is just the way to grind for the camos in this game. I think it's a really good balance of not being too hard and too much and too intimidating to not being too easy. Like, I'm definitely going to have to work for this, but I don't really feel like it's that hard to get 1 gun gold. I feel like I can get one, maybe 2, depending on if it's like a weekend or I grind a lot a day. And again, I don't do any certain method. Like, I don't play kill confirmed or throw decoys. I just want to do it with what I do naturally and what I have fun doing. And I feel like it's pretty a good amount of difficulty to do that. And there's been some games, again, I've only gotten it in Black Ops 3, and that was another game where I was like, that was a grind, but I think it was a good level. There's definitely, I think it's like Damascus in the past was really, really hard that I started going for, and I was just like, there's just no way I'm getting for this. Now, I haven't done it yet, but that's my initial thoughts on that. So those are my main positives. So let's go to some of the negatives right now. Uh, Big one for me is the no dead silence unless it's a field upgrade. Like no dead silence is a perk. They've kind of messed around with the audio here and there, but I've just noticed you're chasing down somebody from like 10 feet behind them and they turn around and kill you so many times. And I can hear guys, especially it's annoying when they're playing game battles. I want to be able to use my brain and make really smart, uh, strategical plays and it just comes down to like hearing and they can just hear me and I still hate that there's doors. I hate having to open doors. So that is not something I've been enjoying. There's also a huge issue I have is with Ghost, how in perk threes in particular, how you don't just get your perks right off the bat. You earn them in game time. So like I get my perk ones right off the bat, but then it takes me a while to get fast hands as perk two. and then even longer to get Ghost as perk 3. I just want to have Ghost on. I don't want spy planes ever to just make me appear as a red dot on the map. That's such a disadvantage. I've always ran Ghost in pubs. I will always run Ghost in pubs. And basically not having it for like the first half, you have to play different, and I've gotten used to it, but I would still be very happy if that was not the case. But I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. The next negative is what I consider the most important thing in Call of Duty and what makes a really good game, and that's the maps. And I don't really think the maps are all that great. Like none of these I can already tell none of these are going to be iconic maps, but I don't even really like many of the maps. I like El Asilo. I like this map I'm playing on right now, but like if I had to rank it like to an S tier, like I think these are like still C maps, maybe B maps on a good day, probably all C maps, and then the rest of them are just that train car map we all know is awful. Uh, the Farm 18 is terrible. So there's definitely not a lot of good maps. There's no map in the game when I get it, I'm like, yes, this map. So I think we're gonna really have to rely on them adding old Modern Warfare 2 maps, and I don't mind them adding old Call of Duty maps. I just don't like when it comes at the expense of them actually being able to put out good new maps and just relying on the old ones. There has to be a balance, but at this point, I'm pretty desperate for just new, playable, good maps anyway, that I'll take whatever I can get. Hopefully, some DLC maps too are good, which fingers crossed. But like I said, if they can add in some just Modern Warfare 2 maps that are a little bit changed, I'll be pretty happy at that point. I just need some more maps. There's not many maps I'm that excited to play right now. And then the last thing is just the overall glitchiness of the game, which is to be expected at the release of any game. But this game especially has a lot of issues, especially with Warzone coming out. And there's a whole other issue. If you guys don't watch competitive, all the issues they're going through with private matches and stuff. I won't go into all the details of that, but there's a lot of game issues. Little things like I'm trying to edit my classes in the pregame lobby, and it says it's the Warzone classes, but I'm on multiplayer, stuff like that. There was that whole issue with the social tab going down, and I couldn't invite friends for a whole day. Little glitches like that, where I'm a pretty patient person, and I know no matter what game, issues are going to come out. But it just seems like at some times this game was not ready to be put out in production quite yet. It seems like it was a few months away from being done, and that's a little frustrating when you spend $70 and there's so many other like free to play games that people are enjoying. But I just hope they continue to work on it. I know this is going to be a 2-year Call of Duty, so they have no excuse to not continue to improve it. But that's pretty much all I got for a basic. If I miss anything, I'll probably add it in future videos and talk about it. Let me know what your guys' initial thoughts are on Modern Warfare 2. You enjoying it? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you all later.